What is up, mi gente? Welcome back to the channel. I'm John. This is that mean 56, and today we're going to be working on the S4. See, when we lived in Florida, I never had a need for heat in the car because, well, it's South Florida. It's summer year-round. But here in North Georgia, we actually have seasons, and I'm actually going to need the heat. So I don't want to pull the dash to replace the heater core because I think there's just a small clog in it. And what we're going to do today, we're going to reverse flush it and see if we can get some heat back in the car. So let's go. All right, so here's the engine bay of the S4. I try to keep it as clean as I can. Still have the majority of all the covers, but where we're going to be working today is actually back here. So we got to remove that trim, and after we remove it, then we'll have access to the heater core. All right, so here's the heater core inlet and outlet. These two pipes right here. As you can see, a little over a year ago, I bypassed them. Use a little 90, put them together, bypassed. So what I'm gonna do today, I'm gonna hook up a hose here and a hose here. And then I bought a fish tank pump, small fish tank pump, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it at the bottom of a bucket, and I'm going to use some of this, some CLR. So I'm going to flush the heater core with CLR, let it pump in and out for a while, and let's see if we have flow. All right, so I picked up this little submersible pump from Amazon for a few bucks, and I'm gonna put it on the bottom of the bucket, put some CLR, put some distilled water in there, and I'm gonna flush it. Let it sit for let it flush for maybe about an hour or so. After that, if we have good flow, we'll rinse it out with some distilled water. After that, I'll pour some coolant in there. That way I'm not leaving a big block of air inside of there. So put some coolant in there. After I put the coolant in, then I'll reconnect the hose, start it up, and then we'll see if we have some heat. So Amazon actually came through, picked up some of this clear tubing on Amazon. So we're gonna hook up one end to the inlet, one end to the outlet, both of them in a bucket, attach the pump to one side, and fill her up. All right, guys, so I got the CLR in the bucket with about half a gallon of distilled water. Got this little submersible pump that is going to be used, well, it's used for fish tanks. So now I'm just going to plug it in and see what we got. Looks like we got flow. Looks like it's working. Looks like it's doing its job. think I'm gonna add a little more water and let it sit. All right, so in total we got about a gallon of water in there. Take a look over here. Everything's looking nice and dry. No leaks. In and out of the plug. So like I said before, we're reverse flushing it using nothing more than a $10 fish tank pump. You think we got flow? I'm gonna let that keep going for about an hour. Let's see what we got. Alright guys, it's been an hour now, so this thing has been running and I think it's doing pretty good. Check it out. So I think we got good flow now. So our bucket is filled up. It started soaking up a little bit, but it's still pumping. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to unplug it, drain the bucket, clean it out, fill it up with a gallon of just straight distilled water, let it pump for another hour to clean out the heater core because I don't want to keep any soap bubbles or anything like that. So I'll let it pump out for about an hour with just straight distilled water. After that, I'm going to fill the heater core up with some coolant, reconnect my pipes, start the car, burp the system if needed. There shouldn't be too much air in it. After that, test out the heat and see if we got anything. Alright guys, I don't know if you can see this, but look at all that nasty, maybe kind of hard to see. Got a lot of just junk, crud, all on the inside of this bucket. Kind of hard to see with the lighting. There you can see there's a lot of junk stuff in there. So let's see, all that black stuff on the bottom, all that sediment, that was circulating in our heater core. Let's flush it out now with water. All right guys, so got the bucket clean, got a gallon of distilled water in there. I also blew out the lines going into the heater core. Check it out. So those are the lines going into and out of the heater core. Here is the gallon of clear water. Can't really make it out, but there's a gallon of water in there. So what I'll do now, I'll put the pump back on it. I did clean out the pump, ran it under some water, dried it out. Plug it back in now, let it run for another hour, and then we'll keep moving. Look at that water. Nice and clean. That's what I want to see coming out of my heater core. Alright, so I made this little contraption here. So I put a little funnel at the end of my hose here that's going into the coolant, well, into the heater core. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pour some coolant in here and I'm going to start filling up the heater core. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for coolant coming out of the other side. So let's get started. All right, let's see if this works. As you can see, I don't know if you guys can make it out from there, But my line is full of coolant over here. And on the other side, I've got coolant actually making its way out. So my heater core is full. So now that it's full, we're gonna pull these hoses off and we're gonna reattach our lines. This is probably gonna get a little bit messy right now, so, oh well. Yep, messy. We'll clean that out later. Also, there's a drain back there, so everything is gonna drain out. So if you are parked outside or whatever, make sure you clean up your mess. You don't want animals, neighborhood animals, cats, whatever, coming in and leaking that, because that stuff is sweet to them. Luckily, I'm in the garage. Once I move the car, then I'll clean it up. There's a good chance this is probably gonna make a mess. Well, it already has made somewhat of a mess. Let's see how big of a mess it's gonna actually make. All right, let's start her up and see what we got. Now we wait for the car to get warm. One of the things I also got a little meat thermometer here. I have never used this one on meat, but it's good for sticking in your vents and checking out the temperature of them. So let's put it in the vents. Let's let this car warm up and let's see where we're at. Alright guys, well I think this is where the heater core saga is probably going to end. Right there where it goes right into the firewall, it leaks. So, and I believe that looks like a big crack on the side of that fitting. Well, oh well, doesn't look like there's going to be any heat this winter. But, for a second, actually for a couple of minutes, I did have heat in the car. So I think there may be something I can do. I'm gonna do some research, but guess we'll take the loss on this one. I mean, it was an effort. Definitely, you know, put forth an effort. Got the heater core unclogged, but it looks like right where the where it connects, it leaks. So I'm gonna let the car cool down, put the fitting back on, bypass it, come up with another plan, and see if we can avoid having to pull the dash. Really don't want to do it. I will if I have to, but I don't know. We'll see. With all that's being said, I think I'm gonna end it here today, guys. If you like what you see, hit that like button. And if you can, subscribe. And I'm John, this is that main 56. And if you want to see what happens on this car and all the other cars and watch us working on them, make sure you guys stay tuned. I will see you next time.